Please hold applause so those viewing at home will be able to hear it. In the event of any technical difficulties with the live stream, a full recording will be made available to view after the event. We'll begin tonight with the race for Franklin County Auditor. Candidates joining us for this race are Jen Boggs, Austin Jolliffe, and Holly Maxey. We'll start with the opening introductions. Jen Boggs, we'll start with you. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you are running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
Hi there, I'm Jennifer Boggs. I'm a longtime Franklin County resident. I'm a wife, a mom, and a homeowner. I'm also a full-time accountant. I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I would like to find a way to give back to my community. And when I saw that the current auditor's term was coming to an end, I thought that I could put my experience to use for the Franklin County taxpayers.
Thank you. Next, Austin Jolliffe. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you are running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
My name is Austin Jolliffe, Republican candidate for Franklin County Auditor. Born and raised here and brought up with conservative Christian values that have shaped me into who I am and how I serve today. The privilege of serving Franklin County as a deputy auditor under current auditor Carla Bautman. In the past 5 years, I have worked on the front lines of the auditor's office every single day, helping taxpayers questions, solving problems, and learning firsthand how county government functions. That I have received over the past 5 years in the auditor's office, I will be more than ready to hit the ground running on day one as your next Franklin County Auditor.
And then Holly Maxey. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. 60 seconds.
Good evening. My name is Holly Maxey, and I am running for County Auditor. My husband, Dale, and son Cole and I are the proud property owners of my family's Hoosier Homestead Farm. As a Bath Township resident, I attended Union County High School and graduated from there. Following high school, I attended Ivy Tech and IU East taking business management courses. I began my adult working career at People's Trust Company here in Brookville. I began as a teller and then moved to a loan processor. In 2001, Lou Linkle and Bob Brock hired me to be the Commissioner's Highway Administrator. During that time, I took an interest in running for County Council and did serve there for 3 terms, being the first woman president. In 2016, Connie Bischoff chose me as her first deputy recorder after her term was up. I decided to run and am currently serving you. Each position I have held,
10 seconds.
Each position I've held working career has set me up for the path of county auditor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question 2. Austin, we're going to start with you this time. While the auditor's office must operate within state law, what can you do at the local level to improve transparency and ensure taxpayers can clearly understand how their money is being collected and spent? You'll have 90 seconds.
I think transparency is a given, especially in the county auditor's office. When it comes to records and such as that, we make them available as much as we can. We put out the distributions and what the portion of the tax, what portion goes out to the government units. There is something also called a public records request. So if there is want to know that it can also be obtained through there. All public records requests have to be acknowledged if they're in person or via the phone within 24 hours. Written public requests or emailed, and those have to be responded to. So I think as far as transparency, that should be given. But as far as making the information where their tax dollars are going, there's also something the auditor does called the annual financial report in January. And that is essentially the entire county financial system. And we do that report, and then it goes out to the public. And those are all available on the DLGF and Gateway's website. So those are all available to the public. But if there is something that's not available, the public can obtain anything through us with the public records request. So.
Okay, thank you. Next, Holly Maxey. While the auditor's office must operate within state law, what can you do at the local level to improve transparency and ensure taxpayers can clearly understand how their money is being collected and spent? You have 90 seconds.
Okay. I think that we always have room for improvements. So there obviously is probably a room for improvement, especially the way the county's feeling right now, that there's not enough transparency. I think that we need to give back the voice to the taxpayers and to the elected officials to make sure they're being heard. I would agree that obviously there's things online that you can get to Gateway to look at our financials, but I think it would also be nice if maybe the auditor would, at the county council meetings, make sure that citizens are aware of more of where the money is going and how the money is being spent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Jen Boggs, while the auditor's office must operate within state law, what can you do at the local level to improve transparency and ensure taxpayers can clearly understand how their money is being collected and spent? 90 seconds.
Well, one of my goals, if I'm elected, is to provide a monthly newsletter to taxpayers, something simple, something clear that's easy for them to understand. But I feel it would keep everybody informed about what's happening in the auditor's office. And possibly, I believe that would make the taxpayers feel more confident in their local government as well.
Thank you. Question 3, Holly Maxey, we'll start with you. What is one improvement you would like to make in the auditor's office to better serve the public? And you have 60 seconds.
Again, I think there's always room for improvement. So just being a current elected official, you know, you do hear different comments by taxpayers that come in, and I just think that the way you treat people, and we could probably maybe improve, does feel involved, and the other elected officials feel involved too.
Okay,
Thank you.
Next, Jen Boggs, what is one improvement you would like to make in the auditor's office to better serve the public? 60 seconds.
Well, in my experience with accounting, I'm always focused on accuracy, accountability, and transparency. And again, that goes back to keeping the public informed and focusing on servicing all taxpayers.
Okay. And then Austin Jolliffe, what is one improvement you would like to make in the auditor's office to better serve the public? 60 seconds.
Well, currently working in the auditor's office, there's always things that can be improved, and there's always room for growth and improvement. One thing that I have seen just firsthand is the property tax administration system difference between the county assessor and the county auditor. We currently operate on 2 totally different systems, so we're not exactly in real time. So that is something that I would like to look at as far as improvement, if I'm elected, is getting the assessor and the auditor on the same software system so that changes and all that can be made in real time, and there will be a better flow between our offices, which that will further help the taxpayers understand and see the flow and the workflow that's going on between us.
Okay, thank you. And question 4, Jim Boggs, we'll go back to you. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? And you have 60 seconds.
I would also, I was thinking about collaboration between the different offices and would like to implement something along the lines of a cloud-based system to work with the other branches of the local government offices.
Okay. Next, Austin Jolliffe, if elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? 60 seconds.
Another goal that I'd like to accomplish is honestly first making sure that the county continues to receive outstanding audits from the State Board of Accounts. We passed every audit from the State Board of Accounts in recent years, not only the auditor's office, but the county as a whole. So that is one of my main goals, and to ensure that the auditor's office continues to have compliancy with all of those laws. And then along with that is to make sure that residents are more informed about property tax deductions. That seems to be the one thing that we hear constantly as residents, they weren't aware of property tax deductions that they qualified for. So that is something I would like to work on and improve as well.
Thank you. And then finally, Holly Maxey, if elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your next term?
The one specific serving on county council, I do believe that the budget process is to a former council member. I think that the auditor does direct budgeting, so that is definitely a specific goal, is to return to a tradition of a longer budget period. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our candidates for auditor. Okay, we'll now move on to the Franklin County Council District 1 race. Candidates joining us are Scott Furman, Bethany Lures, and Joe Sizemore. Our first question, introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running.
Actually, my name is Ken Furman II, but everybody knows me as fine. All my friends, everybody knows me as Scott. Anyways, I've been a lifetime resident, born and raised here. Actually, I've got the same address that when I was born, other than the time I spent in the Marine Corps. I've been in the same place the whole time. I've run a trucking business out of Franklin County here for 27 years. Lived on a small farm. I don't know a whole lot about the politics and everything, but I know money coming in, money going out, and excess and waste. So I'm just here to figure out what's waste and what the county needs and do my best to communicate with people and make our county a better place.
Thank you. Next, Bethany Lures. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. 60 seconds.
Hi, my name is Bethany Lures, and I am running for this office because I've worked inside county government before between the health department and Franklin County EMA, and I've seen the real issues on both sides of it. We don't communicate well. Every department kind of works in its silos. So my hope is to break down those silos and start getting more communication between departments and really start working as a cohesively combined government.
Thank you. And then Joe Sizemore, please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. 60 seconds.
Greetings. My name's Joe Sizemore. I live out on Pipe Creek. I've lived there since 1990. I was born in Rushville and moved to Kentucky when I was 6th grade and come back here and been back ever since '82. I'm married 36 years, have 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and I served 32 years making aerospace parts for Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, Airbus. I've got several, lot of work accreditations there, different areas. But my main reason, I served 12 years on council. And for those 12 years, I have fought off a lot of weird stuff that's come in. I've stood the ground between weird and taxpayers. I actually fought the wheel tax off once. But here lately, over the last 3 years since I've been out, we've had several, actually 3 new taxes put on us, so I decided to run again.
10 seconds.
And thank you all for coming. Thanks, Cassie, for putting it together.
Thank you. Okay, question 2. Next, Bethany Lures, we'll start with you this time. The county council determines how taxpayer dollars are allocated. What should be the top priority in the county budget and why? And you'll have 90 seconds.
Start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our top priority probably needs to focus on, we have a lot of old buildings that are starting to deteriorate. We have a lot of infrastructure that's been deteriorating over the past couple years. I think we need to stop putting the cart before the horse and doing other projects and start looking at our infrastructure, and really council and commissioners need to start working together and really budgeting to make sure that we're getting our county buildings, our roads, our bridges, everything in alignment and working together.
Okay, thank you. Next, Joe Sizemore, I'll ask you the same question. The county determines how taxpayer dollars are allocated. What should be the top priority in the county budget and why? And you'll have 90 seconds.
Well, the top priority for me was to make sure everything was spent correctly. Infrastructure, of course, I mean, we have set budgets for that. We have building funds. I'm kind of drawing a little bit, you have to take care of the taxpayer. That's where I'm going. If you waste money on stuff, right now, I was told today, SB Senate Bill 1 was supposed to reduce property taxes. Well, this year Franklin County is receiving $3 million more property tax revenue than last year. So I think what we need to do is relocate. I need to look at everything again and go through stuff. And then if it needs to be cut, cut it. But I think reducing this property tax is my main issue.
Okay, thank you. And then Ken Furman.
You can call me Scott.
Okay, I don't want to confuse
It
anyone on the ballot.
It gets awkward if you call me Ken.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and then Scott Furman, we'll get finished with you. The county council determines how taxpayer dollars are allocated. What should be the top priority in the county budget and why? And you'll have 90 seconds.
Basically, it's figuring out how to fund our county without having to dig in taxpayers' pockets constantly. There's waste in every form of government, and it's our job to dig in and figure out where the waste is and where the excess is and get rid of it. Because no matter how much money they take from taxpayers, the government always figures out a way to spend it.
Okay, thank you. Next question, Joe Sizemore, we'll start with you. When difficult budget decisions or cuts are necessary, how would you approach making those decisions? And you have 60 seconds.
I made them cuts before, and it's difficult. I've voted to lay off employees, cut departments. You have to look at what's really necessary. Okay, there's constitutional offices, then there's offices that are put in. The constitutional offices we have to fund first because them are mandated by law. We have to keep them. So there's other areas that if I had to cut, that's probably where I would look. I would cut public safety, so I would look at areas just stuff, you know, that basically is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you. Next, Scott Furman. When difficult budget decisions or cuts are necessary, how would you approach making those decisions?
Waste
60
is
seconds.
waste. And that's all there is to it. If it's wasteful, if it's extended spending, we got to get rid of we got to trim the fat. That's all there is to it. If we keep digging in pockets and then making a way to spend it excessively, then it's still waste. So we need to look into maybe other grants or wherever we need to get the money from instead of just digging out on people constantly. And like I said, look at the fat. Just trim the fat and get rid of the wasteful stuff.
Okay, thank you. And then Bethany Lors, when difficult budget decisions or cuts are necessary, how would you approach making those decisions? 60 seconds.
I think ultimately before making any decision, it needs to be looked at, researched, and make sure that it is the right decision. It is hard. There's a lot of hard decisions that have to be made, especially with a lot of the state government pushing back on us. But I think we really do have to make sure that we are making the right decisions. We are talking to the taxpayers. We're getting their opinions because ultimately we can cut stuff, but if that's something that they really need or that really benefits them, that's not going to be a benefit to our taxpayers who ultimately pay the bills.
Okay, thank you. Scott Furman, we'll start with you this time. Property taxes, amongst others, are a major concern for many residents. What role should the county council play in addressing these concerns, and how would you balance tax relief with maintaining essential services? And you have 60 seconds.
Oh, property taxes are a sore one for me. Like everybody else, we have to look into how everything gets assessed and what is, like, I've even got like a luxury tax before on a piece of equipment, and it's just, I don't believe in the way they do the assessing of our taxes, and I just think it's something that needs to be dug into and figure out what's fair and what's not.
Thank you. Next, Bethany Lures. Property taxes, amongst others, are major concerns for many residents. What role should the county council play in addressing those concerns, and how would you balance tax relief with maintaining essential services? 60 seconds.
I think when it comes to property taxes, I think maybe we need to, as county council, we need to look at options as can we go back to the state and ask for more money from the state of what they've collected? Can we look for other revenues to keep essential programs running, keep equipment coming in? There's lots of federal grants. Are we tapping into every possible federal grant we can before we're really, up in property taxes? So I think it's really just keeping our eyes open. And unfortunately, county council's not a once a month show up and do your job. You need to be paying attention to what's going on. We need to be in tune with everything that all the other departments are doing, what their needs are, so we can plan ahead and we can be looking for these grants and be planning out 5 to 10 years. So we're not getting in a bad position where now we're having to up taxes to get money.
Thank you. And then Joe Sizemore. Property taxes, amongst others, are a major concern for many residents. What role should the county council play in addressing those concerns, and how would you balance tax relief with maintaining essential services? 60 seconds.
Well, right now there's no really tax concern in Franklin County. Right now, before the May draw from property tax revenue, there's $5.5 million in general funds sitting there. I mean, that's not even counting rainy day and interest and funds. And we're going to get $3 more million this year than last year. So that was one reason the wheel tax was such a stickler for me. We didn't need to put the maximum on for the wheel tax. I mean, I was there at that meeting and I seen what happened. Here's the deal. The state will tell you whatever they want to tell you. I've been there. I've been held hostage by the state before for a grant in Mattamore. And they're just, to me, I listen to them in this ear
10 seconds.
and kind of put them out in this ear here. Actually, what we need to do is probably look at it and lower the levy, because I don't think we need all the money we have coming in.
Thank you. Okay, question 5, the last one. Bethany Lures, we'll start with you. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? 60 seconds.
One specific goal I would like to accomplish is to be proactive. I would ultimately like to get council and commissioners cohesively working to, when there are projects that are coming in, we ahead of time understand the budget. We know what's going on. We're right there with commissioners. We're not sitting back waiting for the stuff to come to us, and then all of a sudden the cost is more than what was expected. And I would like to look into the way we also do our budgets during budget hearings, and I would like to really dive in deeper on those.
Okay, thank you. Next, Joe Sizemore. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? 60 seconds.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do if I'm elected is make the motion to rescind the wheel tax ordinance, number 2025-11, to the minimum amount, and start over again and see where we need money and where we don't, because this ain't playing out for me, and that's the concern of everybody I've talked to. No matter where I go, it's the wheel tax, the wheel tax. Now the property tax assessments are going up, so that's going to fuel the fire. We have to trim this. It's gotten out of control. I mean, I was there for 12 years. I've seen it. We kept it in control, and now over the last 3 years, it's gotten out of control. So if the put me back in, that'd be my first thing to do, and then the second will be to try to make Franklin County affordable again.
Thank you. And then Scott Furman, we'll finish with you. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? 60 seconds.
Along the lines of Joe, this whole wheel tax thing is under my skin just like it is everybody else. And if the budget doesn't need it, and like I said, it's a need thing, it's not a want. Government can always spend the money that you give them no matter what. So we got to figure out what we need and what we don't, and whatever we need as far as money for the government and the budget and all that, we got to figure out how to get it without digging in pockets. We got to look for grants or other avenues of income instead of just asking for money or demanding more money constantly.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Next is County Council District 4. Candidate Denny Walters joining us this evening. Jerry Reuben Hunt was invited but was not able to attend. Denny Walter, we'll start with you. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for office. You have 60 seconds.
I'm Denny Walter. I've been a longtime resident of Franklin County. I grew up in Franklin County on a family farm. I still live in Franklin County today, over on Doral Road. I'm running for office just because I'm not someone who likes to sit on the sidelines and watch what's going on in the county. I like to be proactive and be able to be part of the decisions that are being made. Um, and I really want the future of this county to be there in the same aspect as it is now for my kids and grandkids moving forward. And I feel like there's some big decisions going on in the county right now that could possibly affect, what direction this county is going in. So.
Okay, thank you. Next up, the county council determines how taxpayer dollars are allocated. What should be the top priority in the county budget and why? You have 90 seconds.
I think the top priority definitely has to be the infrastructure within the county, whether it's roads or bridges, and make sure they're being maintained. I think also that make sure that the money is being allocated to the right areas and the right places, that it's being spent wisely. Trying to eliminate waste is a huge, just because something has always been done that way in the status quo, that doesn't mean it has to be continued to be that way. There's better ways to save money. If you can streamline things that are being done or look at old contracts, just because it's been done for 10, 15, 20 years doesn't mean that's the way it always has to be done. And there's ways to save money and cut money in the budget, then that's what it needs to be done.
Thank you. Next question, when difficult budget decisions or cuts are necessary, how would you approach making those decisions? And you have 60 seconds.
Well, I think you definitely have to take into account the people in the county and what and hear their voice. The people that elect you want you to act on their behalf, and it's their tax dollars, it's their money. I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, and I balance my budget with 4 kids, and it's hard to do. And there's sometimes you got to cut things out that you don't necessarily want to cut out. And I think at the county, being able to look at things that need to be eliminated and try to make sure that people understand where their money's being sent and being transparent. There's times maybe we got to have a tax to add to maintain roads and bridges within the county. Just make sure that you're transparent and people see where their money is going.
Okay, thank you. Property taxes, amongst others, are a major concern for many residents. What role should the county council play in addressing those concerns? And how would you balance tax relief with maintaining essential services? 60 seconds.
Well, I think once it goes back again to, I have no problem paying the tax as long as I know where that money is going. I understand that there is a responsibility of all county residents to, pay their taxes and pay for the upkeep and the infrastructure within this county. I think the biggest issue is people not knowing where that money is being used and how it's being allocated to different programs or different, whether it's roads or bridges or whatever it is within the county. So I don't know if the issue is people are not issued with property taxes. The issue is where that money is being spent and the accountability and the transparency within the county.
Great. And then last question, if elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? 60 seconds.
Well, like I said, I grew up on a family farm, and I think one of the biggest resources, the best resource within this county is the beauty and the ruralness of this county. And there's a lot of talk of solar farms and data centers and what that would do to negatively affect, I think, our best natural resource, which is the beauty of this county. And being a farm kid growing up, I'm not in favor of the solar farms and kind of how they would negatively affect not only the neighboring, farms or people nearby, but also how it would deteriorate the land and the natural resource that we have. And it's along the same lines as data centers as well. So.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to the race for Franklin County Prosecutor. Candidates joining us are Chris Heerkamp and Vincent Krager. We'll start with Chris Heerkamp. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you are running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Heerkamp. I am your current prosecutor. I have been for the last 8 years. It's been an honor to serve this community, of which I've been a part of for now about 15 years. I'm running again because I want to do my part to keep Franklin County a safe place to live, work, and visit. I've dedicated my whole career to being a prosecutor, starting in my hometown of Cincinnati for 5 years, working for Republican prosecutor Joe Dieters. During that time, I met my wife, who is a lifetime Franklin County resident. We eventually moved out here. We're raising our family here. And there's a lot of positive change now going on in our court system. And I think it's very important that the job of chief law enforcement officer in this county
10 seconds.
remain in honest, capable, and reliable hands.
Thank you. Next, Vincent Krager. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you, Cassie. Can everybody hear me? Okay. My name is Vincent Krager. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I joined the Navy when I was 18. I was raised in a Christian home in California, a Republican home. I don't want anybody to think I'm a crazy Californian. I know that's something I have to overcome sometimes. But I joined the Navy when I was 18. I spent 10 years in the Navy. During that time, I met my wife, Olivia, and we moved here. I moved to Indiana to be with my wife and then went to law school. My first job was in Brookville as a lawyer working for the Department of Child Services. So for 3 years, I did that, and I decided to open my own law firm, and I bought the building there on the corner that used to be the dentist office, and I was working there, and I got a contract with the
10 seconds.
Thank you, with the Fayette County Public Defender Office. So I've been doing public defense now for about 4 years. I've done about 400 cases, and I will do a great job.
Time.
I enjoy doing trials. Thank you.
Vincent Krager, we'll start with you this time. What experience, training, or professional background best prepares you to serve as prosecuting attorney? You have 90 seconds.
Sure. So when I moved here and started working for the Department of Child Services, I did about 60 trials. And over the course of 3 years, I learned how to present evidence, how to talk to the judge, and how to basically do what a lawyer does. But something that's relevant information is when I first moved to Indianapolis, I accidentally became the president of a homeowners association, which I don't actually like being a part of a homeowners association, which is why I live here now, because I enjoy Franklin County. But I became the president, and I noticed that half of the people weren't paying their dues, and so I decided to collect that money, and the HOA ended up building a park. So what I did when I first got into that situation is I read the rules and I implemented a change that was positive, and everybody liked it, a park, and everybody was being treated fairly. To me, that's the most important thing, and that's the job of the prosecutor, is to treat everybody fairly. That's what I would do if I were the prosecutor.
Okay, thank you. Next, Chris Heerkamp. What experience, training, or professional background best prepares you to serve as prosecuting attorney? And you have 90 seconds.
Thanks, Cassie. Well, I think it's pretty clear. Like I said earlier, I've been doing this as a prosecutor for 20 years. I've dedicated my entire legal career to public service. In that 20 years, both here and in Cincinnati, I've seen just about every kind of criminal event that can happen in a courtroom and outside of a courtroom. Relevant experience in criminal court is what really matters, because in this line of work, you really you don't know what's coming a lot of times. But it's very important that you can rely on relevant experience to guide you into how to handle things the correct way, for the right reasons, at the right time. I've worked for two of the best prosecutors probably in the country. I've done my best to learn from both of those, apply whatever lessons, whatever knowledge I can get from those two. But I have handled just about any type of criminal proceeding you can. And I've done it for 20 years, and I've done it successfully.
Thank you. Chris Herkamp, we'll start with you this time. What are your, if you adjust your mic down a
I'm
little
sorry.
bit, you might not get as much feedback. It's probably bothering you. We'll start with you this time. What are your top priorities as prosecuting attorney? And again, you'll have 90 seconds.
Well, a priority for the prosecutor is always to do justice. And depending on a case-by-case basis, justice is going to look different because you don't know what the facts that are going to approach you, what case is coming in. So in terms of priorities, a wise and seasoned law enforcement, official told me right when I came out here in 2012, the definition of leadership is doing the right things the right way for the right reasons at the right time. And I've tried to apply that every day, both when I was chief deputy prosecutor here for 7 years and in my 8 years as prosecutor. So my priorities is basically to keep doing the right thing for the right reasons. But we can always improve. There's always room for improvement. I'd like to keep my office under budget with the support that I have. I'd like to keep doing things the way that we've been doing things, because one thing that I am very proud of is that crime is down in Franklin County, and it's down considerably in the 8 years that I've been prosecutor. So my priority is to keep it that way.
Thank you. Next, Vincent Krager. What are your top priorities as prosecuting attorney? And you'll have 90 seconds as well.
So I look at criminal justice a little bit differently than most people. There's different reasons for criminal punishment. And one that many people in our country think is the primary reason is for rehabilitation. So when somebody gets sentenced to any kind of sentence, they say, okay, well, the whole point is to get this person better. And I hope that happens. But my view of criminal justice is that if we punish people, it's to deter them and other people from committing crimes. I think it's a fundamental difference that I have from many other people in this way. And so it would guide my basically my day-to-day routine of what kind of plea agreement do I offer to people, and how many chances do I give them? Do I give them many chances to go rehabilitate, or do I say one time and that's it? And then we're doing the best we can to make sure that other people don't do this crime by punishing you severely. That's actually the way I look at it. So my priorities, when it comes to saving money, of course, I don't want to bring everybody into a jury trial every week and have a bunch of trials. But if I offer a plea deal and it's not justice, and I'm offering justice, hey, you did a crime and you're going to pay the penalty, and here's what the plea deal. If they don't take it, I will have a jury trial.
10 seconds.
And I will go ahead and, bring people in, and that's what America is. We have the right to have a jury trial, and it's part of all of our responsibility. So that would be my priority.
Thank you. Vincent Krager, back to you. How will you balance protecting public safety while also ensuring fair and just outcomes? 60 seconds.
Public safety and fair and just outcomes. Well, I think that my discussion just a moment ago kind of addressed that. To me, deterring other people from committing crimes is the main purpose of criminal justice. So when it comes to public safety, I think our county would be a lot safer if repeat offenders didn't get multiple chances to continue to try to rehabilitate. I think when I was in the Navy, I remember a bunch of 18-year-old boys and kids, and what happened was we were all kind of troubled kids, but we all paid attention and did the right thing once we joined the Navy. Why did that happen? Because the consequences were so severe that people didn't want to mess up. People wanted to do the right thing. And I think that is the best way to get people not only to choose to rehabilitate themselves,
10 seconds.
but also to prevent crime on a large scale.
Thank you. Next, Chris Herkamp. How will you balance protecting public safety while also ensuring fair and just outcomes? And you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. That's a really good question, actually. And that is the job of a prosecutor. Because as a prosecutor, you're an officer of the court, but you're also, under Indiana law, you're considered a minister of justice. So I'm going to keep doing what we always do. We prioritize violent crime, and violent crime is dealt with severely here. My track record speaks for itself. We have effectively dealt with criminals. When you do something really bad, as in the Guilfoyle trial showed, you get a 100-year sentence. I was prepared with my staff, 5 phase, 2 crime scenes. We took it all on. we ensured that justice was done. And if ever there was a deterrent for such a crime, it could be that. But that's only one case. Not only have I protected this county from dangerous criminals and done it effectively,
10 seconds.
I've also stood firm when other members of the court system weren't doing things correctly. And I will continue to do so to ensure justice.
Thank you. And our final question, Chris, we'll start with you. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term?
Well,
60 seconds, sorry.
and that's always interesting, because one thing in this job that you learn is that you're at the mercy of events, often out of your control. So my goal would be to make this office, or actually to keep the reputation of this office what it has been, and to keep doing things the right way. You know, having dedicated my career to prosecution, I think it's important to know that the person making these decisions, balancing justice and public safety, is someone who does it from a strong moral compass with a sense of decency, but never forgetting that public safety, victims, law enforcement need our support more than ever. And I will always ensure that justice is done. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Vincent Krager. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. That I have is, after talking to many people and many law enforcement officers, I think that law enforcement appreciate some more training on trial preparation, explanations on how am I going to the elements of these crimes, and if there are things that, you know, officer or sheriff's deputy, and I say, look, this case is not legally sufficient, rather than just saying, well, out of luck, I'm not going to explain this to you, good luck, see you later. I would explain it to that person, because I think that it would make our law enforcement officers better prepared to do their job, and on the whole, better prepared this county in general to have justice administered more consistently. And that's my main goal, is consistency with implementing the criminal justice system. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates for prosecutor.
Good job.
Next up, we'll have the sheriff. Thank you. Adam will be first, and you'll be.
Okay, so you're going to put this in your back pocket, or you can hook it onto your back pocket, and you can put it on like your back side. It's just like a butt. Make sure you're not eating it. Huh? That's fine. Sorry. And then put this on, you can put it behind your ears. And then, like, edge it. Just keep it like a little weight in your mouth. Yeah.
It doesn't fit. Let me make you very good. Right there. It doesn't fit.
That's great.
We'll now move to the race for Franklin County Sheriff. Candidates joining us are Adam Henson and Chris Maxey. Adam Henson, we'll start with you. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
My name's Adam Henson, and I've been a lifelong resident of Franklin County, and graduated from Franklin County High School in '93, and then I went to Vincennes University and graduated a degree in law enforcement. I started my career at Vincennes University, working for the Vincennes University Police Department. And when I got home, I applied to the Sheriff's Department and got a job as a jail officer. Worked there a couple years and been there ever since. So May will be 30 years at the Sheriff's Department. And I'm running for Franklin County Sheriff because I care deeply about the community. I've lived here my entire life. 6 generations have been here. And I have the education, experience, and the leadership to carry us into the future.
Thank you. Next, Chris Maxey. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
My name's Chris Maxey. I have 3 boys. My wife is currently employed with Franklin County Sheriff's Department as well. Reasons why I want to run for this office is the position I'm in right now as a deputy. I get to work alongside of a lot of good guys. I don't feel that I have much of a say-so in what happens throughout the department with the community engagement. So I intend to run for sheriff to try to change that and get out to the community a little better and engage myself with the community. Thank you.
Thank you. You this time. What do you see as the biggest public safety concern in Franklin? You have 90 seconds.
I think the biggest public safety concern that we have in our is the drug epidemic. It is absolutely, seems like everywhere you go, families are losing loved ones to overdoses and such throughout. It's not just in any certain area. It's all over. And with the last 6 years I've been with the department, I have really done a big number on narcotics. That's going to be one of my biggest goals. And system throughout the community. So I'd like to engage in that and try to get work closer with the community corrections and probation office to try to get a better handle on that. I think that our citizens of this county deserve that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Adam Henson. What do you see as the biggest public safety concern in Franklin County today? You have 90 seconds.
I would have to agree with my opponent, Chris, that the drug problem in Franklin County is pretty serious. And, but it's not something that we can arrest our way out of. It is a multi-pronged solution with aggressive enforcement, and then you fall into the treatment with community corrections and other treatment facilities and things working with the court. And then the mental health side, why are these people altering their reality and trying to cope with their life in some altered state? So there's something deeper, trauma. There's some kind of thing that is causing these people to get into drugs and alter their reality. So,
thank you, Adam Henson. We'll start with you. How will you build and maintain trust between law enforcement and the community? You have 60 seconds.
Excuse me. The way to build trust is to be visible, be out in the community, be transparent. If you're going to tell people you're going to do something, when you respond, you do it. You just continue to do your job, be accountable. We're going to, we recently implemented some performance evaluations, and some of the guys got their eyes open in the ways that they need to be doing a better job. And so guys are going to be doing a better job and doing more proactive work. And thank you.
Thank you. Next, Chris Maxey. How will you build and maintain trust between law enforcement and the community? 60 seconds.
So how would build trust with law enforcement in the community? I've been doing that ever since that I've been a deputy. And prior to, I was with Laurel PD years prior. I've always been engaged with the community. I think we don't outreach enough to the community. I don't think we're involved in our schools as much as what we should be or could be. There's a big wide span there with transparency with both the criminals in our county, their families, and the citizens. I believe that we really need to dig in deep as a community and come together, especially with all of the other law enforcement agencies. I feel that there's kind of a barrier there right now that I intend to break. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Maxey, we'll start again with you. Manages the jail, the budget, and department policies. What education, training, and leadership administrative responsibilities of this role? And you have 90 seconds.
So prior to law enforcement, from 2006 until 2017, I was a union iron worker. During that time, union iron worker has a really tough job, kind of wears your body down. So the last 3 years, I believe it was the last 3 years of my career, I went into a general foreman position. So I managed anywhere from 50 to 100 guys at any time. And the last year that I was actually a union iron worker, I was a project manager for J&B Steel. And I think at one point in time I had 10 or 12 different bridge decks going to install rebar. So I had hundreds of people that I was managing, budgeting, ordering steel for the job sites, payroll, the whole 9 yards, not only from outside in the field, but into the office as well. And I got a really good knowledge from my wife, that's currently the jail commander, on the inside of what needs to be happening in the jail and how we need to try to separate everything and keep it more organized and be involved better with the jailers, the jail staff, all the way out to the deputies.
Thank you. Next, Adam Henson. The sheriff serves not only as the chief law enforcement officer, but also manages the jail, the budget, and department policies. What education, training, and leadership experience prepares you for both the law enforcement and administrative responsibilities of this role? You have 90 seconds.
Well, I've got a college education with a degree in law enforcement, and I've been a night shift supervisor for many years, and I have been doing grants and budgets and budgeting and assigning people to patrol shifts for traffic safety. The priorities with the sheriff are the my education. I graduated from the Leadership Academy in the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department and the Indiana Sheriff Association Leadership Academy. And I've just been supervisor for a long time.
Okay, thank you. Next question, Adam Henson, we'll start with you. How should the Sheriff's Department work with mental health professionals to better respond to individuals, including children, experiencing trauma or severe mental health challenges? You have 60 seconds.
We have some guys signed up to go to some crisis intervention team training coming up, and there is a crisis intervention team out of Lawrenceburg for the mental health, and we have utilized those folks a couple of times. And with the new community corrections, there's a lot of mental health focus in that when it comes to crime.
Thank you. Next, Chris Maxey. How should the Sheriff's Department work with mental health professionals to better respond to individuals, including children, experiencing trauma or severe mental health challenges? You have 60 seconds.
Training. We don't have enough training on mental health stuff, especially when it comes to autistic kids in our community, which we have a ton of. We don't really have much of a program inside the jail mental health wise, and I believe that's absolutely awful. So that is something that I have already had spoken to certain people about, that to try to get a little bit better of a program in, not only for just the people with mental health, but for their families as well. I couldn't imagine how hard it would be to be out with one of your young kids and them have a mental breakdown, a mental crisis, and they have nowhere to turn. We don't do real good with resources that way, so I would try to get a little more better programs implemented in.
Thank you. And for the final question, Chris Maxey, we'll start with you. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? 60 seconds.
So for me, that's super easy. The biggest goal that I would love to see implemented, whether I win this election or I don't win this election, is our community engagement with our children and the citizens in this county. We are divided. I don't think there should be any little kid that should fear a cop or not want to come up to a cop. I think that we as a department need to work better with other departments within the county and surrounding counties. So that's going to be my biggest concern with everything. I want to try to get that implemented to where we have a better working relation with every department as well as the community. There are so many things that we could do as a department that we do not do in this community, and I will change that.
Thank you. And finally, Adam Henson, if elected, what is one specific goal you would accomplish during your term?
One specific goal I want to accomplish is we have some guys getting ready to go at the end of later this year to a course for physical and mental wellness for law enforcement officers. And I'd like to implement more programming within the department for physical and mental health wellness for our officers.
Thank you. Thank you to our candidates. You can have a seat. Okay, we'll now move to the Franklin County Commissioner District 1 race. Candidates joining us are John Palmer and Larry Wee. John Palmer, we'll start with you. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You'll have 60 seconds.
One commissioner. The reason I'm running is because I think that with two of our commissioners basically retiring at this point, we're going to need a lot of experience to be able to handle some of the, how should I put this, some of the troubled waters we're going to see with the changes in taxes and tax rates and things like that coming up. And we really don't know what our revenue is going to look like. The commissioners set the budget, but they do submit budgets. They're responsible for an awful lot of the like that. You've heard that come up in a couple of comments before with the previous people. And I think that I'm running because I have that experience. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I have that experience. I know how government works. And I think I can make it work for all of us.
Thank you. Next, Larry Wee. Yourself to voters and explain why you are running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
Hi, I'm Larry grew up on a farm in Harrison, Ohio. Have been a resident in Franklin County since 1988, except for 4 years that were in Iowa City. So I still manage the farm, agriculture. I've been a small business owner, so 30 years experience in understanding what small businesses deal with. And I just retired from Procter & Gamble as a manager. There 8 years in finance, 30 years in manufacturing, and all of that required data analysis, judgment, problem solving. And I bring that problem solving and that analysis for the services of Franklin County.
Thank you. Next question, Larry Wee will begin with you. What do you believe is the most important issue facing Franklin County right now, and how does your experience or background prepare you to address it? You have 90 seconds.
First, as a concerner, my first concern is limiting the tax burden on our citizens. We need to understand that every tax dollar is a loss of freedom for our citizens. You don't have the freedom to spend. So we need to minimize both the size and scope of government. Preserve what are good about Franklin County. That's our resources, particularly our farmland and our water. It also means, though, another need we have is employment, and we need to bring employment opportunities to the county. That 70% of our farm workforce leaves the county every work day, and that doesn't give us much of a property or a business tax base to support our county government. So one of my goals would be to do the best we can to attract some good employment opportunities for the county.
You facing Franklin County right now, and how does your experience or background prepare you to address it? You have 90 seconds.
Okay, I think one of the biggest problems we run into is the fact that, as Larry referred to it, we actually do need to bring more jobs, businesses here to help broaden the tax base. As long as we have a certain number of people, a certain amount of property here, we cannot we can't lower taxes because we're all paying more and more every year. But with that, we also need to find a way to spend that money the smart way, because, for instance, we have bad roads. I live on one. We need to keep that going as well. So I think that really it comes down to this, taking a look at how everybody works together. And that's one of the things I think that we haven't done too well. We haven't planned very well, incorporating all the departments together. And if we can plan, we can take a look and try to stop some of these expenditures that come up unexpectedly. And that's one way. Look at a 5-year plan, look at a 10-year plan, but basically try to do everything that we can to preserve the way of life that we have, but also limit the amount of money that we're going to have to take out of everybody's pocket. So.
Thank you. Next question, John Palmer, we'll start with you. How should the county approach growth and development, including large-scale projects, while balancing infrastructure demand, land use, and the needs of current residents? And you'll have 90 seconds.
I think that that's a very big question, and it's something that we struggle with almost every day with the Area Plan Commission, trying to set rules and trying to set up controls and zoning and things like that to try to make sure that something fits where it's going to go. We definitely need to decide what kind of business that we're going to be in, and I think that's part of that planning I talked about. Do some work with the communities, find out, because too many times we have something come in, we don't expect it, and there's a lot of pushback on it. And I think that we have to have a better look at how we're going to handle that. So.
Thank you. Next, Larry Wee. How should the county approach growth and development, including large-scale projects, while balancing infrastructure demands, land use, and the needs of current residents? You have 90 seconds.
Well, interestingly enough, John and I actually served together on a volunteer committee 25 years ago to update the county's comprehensive plan. And one of my key learnings from that is it's incredibly hard work. None of us want to be told what to do with our property. And at the same time, we have to have good zoning laws that will support and attract business. At the same time, we also have to be very protective of the property owner's rights. So when you put all that together, there are no easy answers with respect to, what's the right growth and how should it be meted out among our property owners. Each situation really needs to be judged on its own merits. I know data center, for example, is a hot topic. I don't know if I can support a data center or not. I don't have enough information. And again, going back to my P&G experience, the right thing to do is to gather all the information we can, the pros and the cons, and make the right call from there. You need to understand, though, that any growth, somebody in the county is going to, if they're not going to like the noise, they're not going to like the traffic, they're not going to like the school system, there's always something like
10
that.
seconds.
And that's why the and the hard decision making that I bring, I think.
Thank you. Larry Wee, we'll start back with you. How would you ensure areas like Metamora and others receive equitable infrastructure funding, including for roads and drainage?
Again, lean back on the P&G experience. You might find that hard to believe. Resources are always scarce. So, cost benefit analysis of where do I get the most bang for the buck? And that is particularly important when you're talking about people's tax money. So when we look at the total needs of the entire county, the funds available, I liked some of the earlier discussion about trying to get some outside money, some grants and so forth. And then it's really a question of bang for the buck. Here's how much money we have. Here's the pros and cons. Here's the impact on the surrounding areas, and make the right but hard call sometimes that's necessary. With what I probably didn't emphasize enough is problem solving. That is most of what I've done in the last. And when you have some available growth opportunities, there's always going to be some kind of barrier that's going to seem things out.
Thank you. Next, John Palmer. How will you ensure areas like Metamora and small communities receive equitable infrastructure for infrastructure funding, including roads and drainage? And you have 90 seconds.
Okay. Interesting question, and Larry touched on just about everything that you have to do, but I think one of the things that you need to do is you need to make sure that you interact with those communities and that you actually spend time there. For instance, I can find Metamora and I can find Laurel, I can find Andersonville without a map. And I think you need to get there and talk to the people, talk to the councils. At Laurel, for instance, Metamora, on the other hand, is not incorporated. So you can't just go in and say, okay, Metamora, you go do all this on your own. So I think that's where the county has to come in and working with those smaller unincorporated communities to try to find the best path to get those funds. So.
Thank you. John Palmer, we'll start with you. If elected, that you would like to accomplish during your term, and you have 60 seconds.
I think the specific goal is actually we've been talking about here is that we've got a lot of progress that we've made in the county over the last money put into the Laurel Community Center, for instance, Metamora Community Center. What can we do to keep those communities growing and keep them being more successful as time goes on? I think a lot of times we'll put money someplace and, oh, that's great, and we walk away. And then we'll come back a few years later and say, well, what happened if we did this? For instance, Metamora's sewer system. It was put in a number of years ago. They still have debt. But one of the things we were able to do with the ARPA money that we had is we were able to give them $100,000 to buy new pumps. And I talked to somebody on the board the other day, and they have been doing that. So the things that we can do to help them, help get their infrastructure set up. And that means sometimes we take the lead as the county to go out looking for these funds, not just say, can we find grants someplace? But we have to get in there and find out where to get that money.
Thank you. Next, Larry Wee. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? And you have 60 seconds.
Okay. The first is to be good stewards of our natural resources, particularly our farmland and our water resources. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm anti-growth, because you've obviously heard that I'm not, but it means to balance that growth, those growth opportunities against managing those resources. So my primary objective would be to find, again, some employment opportunities that we can bring to the county to quit having so much of our workforce leave the county. And frankly, this is personal for me. One of my sons, valedictorian of his class, had to leave the county and go find employment elsewhere because he couldn't find a good opportunity here. So now I've got to drive 750 miles to go visit my grandchildren. And I'd like to not create that situation for future generations here, to really create some good opportunities here.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates. You may have a seat. Finally, we'll move to the Franklin County Commissioner District 2 race. Candidates joining us are Nikki Day, Bob Evans, and Brian Patterson. Tom Lincoln was invited but was unable to attend. Nikki Day, we'll start with you. Please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
My name's Nikki Day. I did not grow up here, but I've been here for over 20 years. We've proudly raised my kids. They went to Franklin County High School. And I just believe that people have been outraged by some of the things that are going on. And I think that this county needs a new face and a new whole perspective to everything that's been done.
Thank you. Bob Evans, please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
My name's Bob Evans. I've lived in Franklin County for my entire life, which is a long time. My reason for running for commissioner, there's a lot of big things going on in Franklin County right now. Some of them are in the works currently with like low water crossings and our bridges that have to be repaired by 2034, and also the 911 center. But there's also two other things that are trying to come to Franklin County, which I am opposed to, and I want to be able to assist in those decisions.
Thank you. And then Brian Patterson, please introduce yourself to voters and explain why you're running for this office. You have 60 seconds.
My name is Brian Patterson. I'm a lifelong resident of Franklin County, small business owner for over 24 years. I currently serve on the Franklin County Council. I am pro-life, most important, and I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment rights and all your rights. I'm running for county commissioner because I believe our county needs strong leadership that puts people first, protecting our families, fixing our roads, and planning for the future. That also means creating opportunity. We need affordable housing so young families can stay here, put down roots, and build their lives in Franklin County. When families stay, our schools grow stronger, not shrink, and that benefits the entire community. And the truth is, no one in this room wants their children or grandchildren to move away and never come back.
10 seconds.
We want them to return home. I want to create a safe Franklin County that they want to return home to, where they can live, work, and raise their families for generations to come.
Thank you. Next question, Bob Evans, we'll start with you this time. What do you believe is the most important issue facing Franklin County right now, and how does your experience or background prepare you to address it? You have 90 seconds.
I don't know that we have one issue that's most important. I think the bridges are going to be very important because that's going to be millions of dollars, and it has to be done by 2034 according to the state inspections. What was the second part of your question?
Just how your experience or background prepares you to address that.
Well, I've been on county council for 3.5 years. I understand budgeting and how complex it is and how hard it is. And I think as a commissioner that I can, by the knowledge that I've gotten from being on county council, help to make sure that the things that we actually do as commissioners are important and also affordable.
Thank you. Next, Brian Patterson. What do you believe is the most important issue facing Franklin County right now, and how does your experience or background prepare you to address it? You have 90 seconds.
Biggest obstacles facing Franklin County, I actually have three. Today come down to three areas: infrastructure, affordable housing, and long-term strength of our school system. These issues are all connected, and how we address them will shape the future of our county for years to come. First, infrastructure. Our roads and bridges are aging, and we are already significantly behind in repairs. This is not just about convenience. It is about public safety. Our children ride these school buses. They use these roads. Our emergency responders depend on them every day. Second, affordable housing. Right now, too many young families, first-time home buyers, and workers are struggling to find housing that they can afford in Franklin County. When people cannot afford to live here, they leave. And when they leave, we lose workforce, we lose growth, and we are limited of our future. This is not about overdevelopment. This is about smart, responsible growth that fits our community and creates real opportunity. And third, our schools. These issues all tie directly into the strength of our school system. When we create opportunities for families to live here, we increase enrollment, we strengthen our schools. I want us to have a very different conversation about the future of our schools. Not about shrinking enrollment or closing elementary schools, but I want to talk about growth and opportunity. I want to see these places like Laurel Elementary and Mount Carmel growing, thriving, and even pushing.
And then Nikki Day, we'll move to you. What do you believe is the most important issue facing Franklin County right now, and how does your experience or background prepare you to address it? You have 90 seconds.
I think one of the most important things that we need to fix and to address is our infrastructure, like these guys have said. I was a union carpenter for 10 years. I worked for a construction company in the office. I'm married to a union ironworker, and our county is wasting a lot of money by using these financial groups and getting all these consultants. I think we just need to use our resources that we have, the talented people that we have employed already, and we need to let them do their job. I also believe that the data center does not need to be here, and I am a firm supporter of the farm ground, which I do not want to see it just molested and raped and turned into something that Franklin County is not.
Thank you. Brian Patterson, we'll start with you this time. How should the county approach growth and development, including large-scale projects, while balancing infrastructure demands, land use, and the needs of the current residents? You'll have 90 seconds.
So this is a big question about data center and development throughout the county. I believe in responsible growth. It's not about stopping development. It's about doing it right. I do not believe in large-scale solar farms or data centers. I do not believe that they fit in the landscape of Franklin County. Some places throughout the country, maybe they're needed, but not here. But here's my challenge to the public. Let's come together and find a better way to grow our tax base. If we don't want solar farms and things like that, we need to focus on how we can work together as individuals and as a community and work together to bring in the proper development that we want. We should be growing within, helping our small businesses thrive and help them take that next step into instead of relying on outside corporations that come in and drain our resources. And no one person can do this alone. We have to work at this together. Because if we don't, we end up right back where we are today with our children, our grandchildren having no place to return because they can't afford to live here. My job is to change that with your help.
Thank you. Next, Nikki Day. How should the county approach growth and development, including large-scale projects, while balancing infrastructure demands, land use, and the needs of current residents? And you have 90 seconds.
I believe that we need to utilize our resources, our campgrounds, our state parks. We do have a lot of small businesses that need to be supported. As far as growth, I don't think we need to continue to add housing. I think that our schools are barely sustaining as they are. And for lack of better words, I guess I just would really like to see our county use what we have to excel and to not continue to take away from what we are doing.
Thank you. And then Bob Evans, how should the county approach growth and development, including large-scale projects, while balancing infrastructure demands, land use, and the needs of current residents? And you have 90 seconds.
Large-scale projects, housing in Indiana or in Franklin County needs to improve, needs to go up. And I think improving roads, improving infrastructure, keeping our scenery, if you want to call it that, as it is now and not trying to change that in a drastic way, will not only draw people in, but it will keep the people who are here, it will keep them coming back, or at least wanting to come back. You know, Franklin County has a lot to offer. It has a lot to offer. We have some downsides. We have some things we have to work on. But I think as far as roads, I think that's part of what would keep people here. And building homes on some of these roads, people might not do it. So I think we have to take care of our county infrastructure.
Thank you. Nikki Day, we'll start with you on this question. How will you ensure areas like Metamora and other unincorporated communities receive equitable infrastructure funding, including roads and drainage? And you'll have 90 seconds.
I would like to ensure that they do receive everything that they need. First of all, I think that we need to have a full-time grant writer that does not want to line his own pockets. That would be nice to be able to give back to some of the smaller communities. We need to raise our own funds and not rely on all of the tax money that we rely on. I think we need to come together as a community and support these smaller communities instead of expecting the state to step in and do it for us, because that's just going to lead to a disaster.
Thank you. Next, Bob Evans, how will you ensure areas like Metamora and other unincorporated communities receive equitable infrastructure funding, including roads and drainage? And you have 90 seconds.
Well, I know there are some grants that are currently being talked about in the state of Indiana that are going to go to Metamora. We as Franklin County government, I think we just need to make sure that everything is ready from our standpoint. If the money comes through and everything can work out for Metamora, I just think the commissioner's job is to make sure that everything is something that would draw you in. So.
Thank you. And then Brian Patterson, how will you ensure areas like Metamora and other unincorporated communities receive equitable infrastructure funding, including roads and drainage? And you have 90 seconds.
So this is a great question. This is something I'm very passionate about and have been working with the town of the unincorporated area of Metamora for a good decade now, it feels like. So we got some large projects coming down through the state of Indiana with repairing the entire canal. It's about a $14.2 million project, which I had the great honor of testifying in the state Senate and the DNR committee. And my speech to them was not about we need money. It was more about how we need to draw more attention to Metamora. And I was talking in front of 11 state senators, and half of them never even heard of the town of Metamora. So I pled with them and told them how great of an area we have in southeastern Indiana, and they need to get down here and bring their money with them. Second thing that I've done here recently is I spearheaded a project with Okra and with a few other community members, and we've applied for stormwater and drainage funding with the help of the county commissioners and the county council to bring, it's going to start out about $60,000, but could grow up to about $750,000. And that is basically with no money outside, really no
10
local
seconds.
tax dollars being used. I think there was like 7,000 that we had to match for that grant, but it's going to parlay into, over $1 million eventually over the next few years.
Thank you. Bob Evans, we'll start with you. If elected, what is one specific goal you would like to accomplish during your term? And you have 90 seconds.
I think the one specific goal that I would have would be to continue with the 3 big projects that are going on now. The 911 center, which is in the works, the bridges, which are having to be dealt with, but it's also in the works, and then also the low water crossing. Other things, as I said before, and I'm adamant about this, I am opposed to centers and to the solar farms. I think what we have here is a beautiful county. I think we can draw people in. I don't see that as a plus for Franklin County anywhere that it's located. I think there's too many other options in other cities and states and so forth for that rather than Franklin County. That would be my primary reason. I want to be part of that decision in 2027 because I think it's going to be made.
Thank you. Next, Brian Patterson. If elected, what goal you would like to accomplish during your term? And you have 90 seconds.
That question comes down to, if I had unlimited resources. First, public safety and infrastructure. We would fix no delays, no shortcuts. Right now, we would have all the roads and bridges currently, and families and school buses and emergency responders depend on every day. We would fix them, and that's an unfortunate circumstance. I've listened, and there is not one person that's sitting in this alert here recently. You've received it. There's a low water crossing that's flooded. There's a flood. Another road is flooded here. People being washed down the creek in Blue Creek, just right down the road here. Infrastructure is the lifeblood of our county. And if we don't feel safe driving on our roads and fixing these low water crossings, which I have started spearheading many, many years ago and was able to get $500,000 a year to start replacing them. And we are currently replaced 12 out of the 28.
10 seconds.
Elect me as your next county commissioner. I will continue that we cut wasteful spending and we focus on roads.
Goal you would like to accomplish during your term, and you have 90 seconds.
Well, we all can agree that we do need roads, bridges, infrastructures, water crossings, whatever. My one goal is to help be able to keep our talented county employees and be able to pay them right, to be able to keep they deserve to be where they're at without them being killed by some of the other elected officials. That those are the most important asset that we have, and that it goes from everybody that works in the courthouse, government center, the sheriff's office, our highway workers. They all need to be recognized, and they all need to be treated as the great employees that they are.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes tonight's candidate Q&A. Thank you to all the candidates for participating, and to our audience for taking the time to stay ahead and informed ahead of the election.